The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. Most people think peace is the absence of conflict. They believe a calm mind is one untouched by storms. They chase tranquility like a drug, numbing themselves to the very forces that forge strength. They're wrong. Peace isn't the absence of war, it's the mastery of it. A truly calm mind isn't one that avoids turbulence, but one that navigates it with ruthless efficiency. We are not them. We don't seek escape, we seek control. We understand that the battlefield exists within. Inner turbulence is not a weakness to be suppressed, but raw material to be exploited. Fear, anxiety, doubt, these are not enemies to be vanquished, but signals to be decoded. They are indicators of vulnerabilities, pointing precisely to the areas where we need to reinforce our mental defenses. The common man runs from discomfort, seeking the fleeting solace of distraction. We embrace it, dissect it, and weaponize it. We understand that discomfort is the crucible in which resilience is forged. The world throws chaos at us constantly. Deadlines, betrayals, failures, sickness, loss. These are inevitable. To believe you can shield yourself from these onslaughts is delusional. The question isn't whether you'll face the storm, but how you'll weather it. Will you be a leaf tossed about by the wind, or a mountain that stands firm against the tempest? The choice is yours, and it is made in the moments when your inner world threatens to overwhelm you. It is made in the dark corners of your mind, where the whispers of doubt and fear seek to erode your resolve. Mastering inner turbulence isn't about eliminating negative emotions. It's about understanding their source and redirecting their energy. It's about transforming fear into focus, anxiety into action, and doubt into fuel for relentless self-improvement. Think of a skilled martial artist. They don't try to eliminate the force of their opponent's attack. They redirect it, using it against them. We must do the same with our inner demons. We must become masters of psychological jujutsu, turning our weaknesses into weapons. The first step is brutal self-honesty. You must confront the uncomfortable truths about yourself, your limitations, your fears. Most people avoid this step, preferring the comforting lies they tell themselves. They construct elaborate narratives to justify their failures, blaming external circumstances instead of acknowledging their own shortcomings. This is a path to weakness. We must be willing to tear down these false narratives, to expose ourselves to the harsh light of reality. Only then can we begin to build a foundation of genuine strength. Identify the recurring patterns of your inner turbulence. What triggers your anxiety? What fuels your doubts? What situations consistently lead to feelings of overwhelm? Once you understand the specific triggers, you can begin to develop strategies for managing them. This might involve practicing mindfulness, developing specific coping mechanisms, or simply restructuring your environment to minimize exposure to triggering stimuli. But understanding is only the first step. Knowledge without action is worthless. You must actively practice managing your inner turbulence in real-world situations. This means intentionally exposing yourself to discomfort, pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, and learning to navigate challenging situations with composure and clarity. It means embracing the struggle, knowing that each difficult experience is an opportunity to strengthen your mental resilience. Don't expect overnight results. Mastering inner turbulence is a lifelong process, a constant battle against the forces that seek to undermine your resolve. There will be setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. But it is in these moments that your true character is revealed. Will you succumb to the pressure, or will you rise to the occasion, drawing strength from the very challenges that threaten to break you? The answer lies in your commitment to the principles of self-mastery, your willingness to confront your inner demons, and your unwavering dedication to the pursuit of psychological dominance. Forget the gurus selling instant enlightenment. Forget the self-help platitudes about positive thinking. This is about forging yourself into a weapon, honing your mind into an instrument of precision and power. It's about accepting the reality of inner turbulence and learning to harness its energy to achieve your goals. It's about becoming the master of your own mind, the architect of your own destiny. This is not a path for the faint of heart. It requires courage, discipline, and an unwavering commitment to the truth. But for those who are willing to embrace the challenge, the rewards are immeasurable. Inner turbulence isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's the raw material from which mental fortitude is forged. The human mind, by its very nature, is a battleground of conflicting desires, fears, and impulses. To attempt to eliminate this internal friction is not only futile, but also counterproductive. Imagine a sword crafted from the softest metal. It might look beautiful, but it would shatter at the first sign of resistance. Similarly, a mind devoid of inner conflict is a mind ill-equipped to withstand the inevitable storms of life. The key is not to eliminate the turbulence, but to learn to navigate it, to harness its power, and to transform it into a source of strength. This requires a deep understanding of the psychological forces at play, a willingness to confront your own vulnerabilities, and a commitment to developing the mental skills necessary to maintain control in the face of adversity. Understand that your emotions are not enemies to be suppressed, but signals to be interpreted. Anger can be a powerful motivator, fear can be a valuable warning, and sadness can be a catalyst for growth. The problem arises when these emotions hijack your rational mind, clouding your judgment and leading you to act in ways that are detrimental to your goals. Therefore, you must cultivate the ability to observe your emotions without being consumed by them, to recognize their triggers, and to respond in a manner that is both effective and aligned with your values. Consider the Stoic philosophers, who understood the importance of accepting what is beyond your control and focusing your energy on what you can influence. They recognized that external events, the actions of others, and the whims of fate are often unpredictable and uncontrollable. To become overly attached to these external factors is to invite disappointment, frustration, and anxiety. Instead, they advocated for cultivating inner virtue, developing resilience, and maintaining a sense of equanimity in the face of adversity. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or becoming indifferent to the world around you. It means recognizing that your happiness and well-being are ultimately dependent on your own internal state, not on external circumstances. It means cultivating a sense of inner peace and stability that can withstand the inevitable storms of life. Psychological warfare begins within. Your mind is the primary battleground, and your thoughts are the weapons. Negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, and self-doubt are all forms of internal sabotage that can undermine your efforts and prevent you from achieving your potential. To counter these attacks, you must develop a strong sense of self-awareness. Identify your negative thought patterns and challenge their validity. Question your assumptions, examine the evidence, and replace your limiting beliefs with empowering ones. This is not about blindly embracing positive affirmations or engaging in wishful thinking. It's about developing a rational and objective assessment of your strengths and weaknesses, and cultivating a mindset of continuous improvement. Remember that your thoughts are not facts. They are simply interpretations of reality, and you have the power to choose your interpretations. Cultivate a strategic mindset. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of turbulence is an opportunity to learn, to adapt, and to grow. View your life as a game of chess, where each move must be carefully considered and strategically executed. Anticipate potential obstacles, develop contingency plans, and be prepared to adjust your strategy as circumstances change. Don't be afraid to take risks, but always weigh the potential rewards against the potential consequences. And never allow yourself to be paralyzed by fear of failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a stepping stone to success. Each failure provides valuable lessons that can be used to improve your performance in the future. The only true failure is the failure to learn from your mistakes. Examine the concept of delayed gratification. In a world of instant gratification and immediate satisfaction, the ability to delay gratification is a superpower. It allows you to resist impulsive desires, focus on long-term goals, and make choices that are aligned with your values. The capacity for delayed gratification is a key predictor of success in all areas of life, from academic achievement to financial stability to personal relationships. To cultivate this ability, start by setting small, achievable goals and rewarding yourself for reaching them. Gradually increase the difficulty of your goals and the length of the delay between effort and reward. Learn to derive satisfaction from the process of working towards your goals, not just from the achievement of the goals themselves. Don't underestimate the power of routine. In the midst of inner turbulence, a well-established routine can provide a sense of stability and control. It can help you to stay focused on your priorities, manage your time effectively, and reduce stress. Develop a daily routine that incorporates habits that support your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. This might include exercise, meditation, reading, journaling, or spending time in nature. The specific elements of your routine will depend on your individual needs and preferences, but the key is to create a structure that provides a sense of predictability and purpose. When chaos threatens to overwhelm you, your routine will serve as an anchor, keeping you grounded and centered. Mastering inner turbulence is not about achieving a state of perpetual bliss or eliminating all negative emotions. It's about developing the mental strength and resilience to navigate the inevitable challenges of life with composure, clarity, and purpose. It's about transforming your inner battles into opportunities for growth and harnessing the power of your mind to achieve your goals. It's about becoming the master of your own destiny, the architect of your own reality. This is a lifelong journey, not a destination, and the rewards are immeasurable. Embrace the struggle, and you will emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. You will become a force to be reckoned with, not just in the external world, but in the internal landscape of your own mind. This is the true meaning of psychological dominance. Imagine a high-stakes poker game. The room is thick with cigar smoke, the air heavy with unspoken tension. A man, let's call him Victor, is sitting at the table, a mountain of chips stacked in front of him. He's been on a winning streak all night, his confidence radiating outward like a palpable force. He's built this empire of chips through calculated risks, a masterful understanding of probabilities, and the uncanny ability to read his opponents. But now, the tides are turning. A new player, shrouded in an aura of quiet intensity, has entered the game. He's a stone-cold professional, his face an unreadable mask, his eyes betraying nothing. This new player starts chipping away at Victor's stack, slowly, methodically, like water eroding stone. Victor, who was once the picture of composure, starts to feel the pressure mounting. He fidgets in his seat, his hands start to sweat, and the carefully constructed facade of confidence begins to crumble. He starts making rash decisions, chasing losses, and deviating from his well-honed strategy. The inner turbulence is rising within him. Doubts creep in, whispering insidious suggestions of failure. He replays past hands in his mind, dissecting his mistakes, fueling his anxiety. The other players, sensing his vulnerability, begin to tighten their strategies, capitalizing on his wavering resolve. He's no longer playing the game is playing him. His inner turmoil is a beacon, signaling his weakness to everyone at the table. The new player, the silent professional, recognizes the shift in power. He presses his advantage, ratcheting up the pressure, tightening the screws. Victor, overwhelmed by the internal storm, makes a disastrous call, pushing all his remaining chips into the pot. He loses everything. In a single crushing hand, his empire collapses, leaving him stripped bare, humiliated, and defeated. This isn't just about poker. This is a microcosm of life. The external forces, the challenging situations, the unpredictable events, they are always there waiting to test you. But the real battle is always within. Victor's downfall wasn't caused by the new player's superior cards. It was caused by his inability to master his inner turbulence. He allowed fear, doubt, and frustration to cloud his judgment, erode his discipline, and ultimately destroy him. The weak believe that external circumstances are the ultimate determinant of their fate. They see themselves as victims of circumstance, tossed about by the whims of fortune, blaming bad luck, unfair situations, and the actions of others for their failures. This victim mentality is a self-fulfilling prophecy. By relinquishing control, by refusing to take responsibility for their own inner state, they surrender their power to the external world. They become reactive, constantly responding to events rather than proactively shaping their own reality. When faced with adversity, they crumble. They see obstacles as insurmountable barriers rather than challenges to be overcome. Their minds become prisons, filled with self-limiting beliefs and negative self-talk. They dwell on their shortcomings, magnify their mistakes, and wallow in self-pity. This negativity poisons their thoughts, erodes their confidence, and cripples their ability to take effective action. They seek external validation, craving approval from others to bolster their fragile egos. They fear criticism, avoid risks, and play it safe, trapped in a cycle of mediocrity. They become masters of excuses, skilled at rationalizing their failures and shifting blame onto others. They are easily distracted, chasing fleeting pleasures and avoiding uncomfortable truths. They lack the discipline to focus on long-term goals, succumbing to instant gratification and impulsive decisions. Their emotions control them, dictating their actions and clouding their judgment. They are slaves to their fears, their desires, and their insecurities. This lack of inner mastery makes them vulnerable to manipulation, exploitation, and defeat. They are easily swayed by propaganda, susceptible to peer pressure, and unable to resist temptation. They lack the mental fortitude to withstand pressure, the emotional resilience to bounce back from setbacks, and the unwavering self-belief to persevere in the face of adversity. They are destined to live lives of quiet desperation, never realizing their full potential, forever trapped in the prison of their own minds. They fail to understand that the key to success lies not in controlling the external world, but in mastering their own internal world. The ability to regulate your emotions, focus your attention, and control your thoughts is the ultimate weapon in the battle for success. Without this inner mastery, you are nothing more than a leaf in the wind, blown about by the storms of life. You are a puppet on strings, controlled by your fears, your desires, and the opinions of others. You are destined to be a victim, a pawn, a loser. The path to mastery is not easy. It requires relentless self-discipline, brutal honesty, and unwavering commitment. It demands that you confront your demons, overcome your weaknesses, and transform yourself into an unbreakable force. It requires that you take responsibility for your own thoughts, your own actions, and your own destiny. It demands that you become the master of your own mind, the architect of your own reality, the captain of your own soul. The weak fail because they refuse to do the work. They seek shortcuts, they crave instant results, they avoid discomfort. They are unwilling to pay the price of mastery. They are destined to remain trapped in their prisons, forever blaming others for their failures. The strong, on the other hand, embrace the challenge. They understand that the road to mastery is paved with adversity, setbacks, and pain. They welcome these challenges as opportunities for growth, using them to forge themselves into stronger, more resilient individuals. They understand that the real battle is always within, and they are prepared to fight it with every ounce of their being. The strategy for mastering inner turbulence begins with a cold, hard assessment of your current state. Strip away the illusions, the self-deceptions, the comforting lies you tell yourself. See yourself as you truly are, your strengths, your weaknesses, your fears, your desires. This is not an exercise in self-pity or self-aggrandizement. It is a ruthless audit of your inner landscape, a mapping of the terrain you must conquer. Identify the specific triggers that throw you off balance, the situations, the people, the thoughts that spark anger, fear, anxiety, or despair. Understand the patterns of your emotional responses, the habitual reactions that sabotage your efforts and undermine your resolve. Recognize the vulnerabilities that others can exploit, the pressure points that can be used to manipulate you. This is not about judging yourself, but about understanding yourself, about gaining the knowledge you need to develop effective countermeasures. Once you have a clear picture of your inner terrain, you can begin to build your defenses. This starts with the practice of detachment. Learn to observe your emotions without identifying with them, to witness your thoughts without getting carried away by them. See them as fleeting phenomena, as temporary visitors to your inner landscape, rather than as reflections of your true self. This requires a conscious effort to step back from your experience, to create a space between yourself and your feelings. It is like watching a movie, observing the drama unfold on the screen without getting emotionally invested in the outcome. This detachment allows you to respond to your emotions with reason and logic, rather than with instinct and impulse. It gives you the power to choose your reactions, to control your behavior, to maintain your composure in the face of adversity. Next, cultivate a mindset of anti-fragility. Embrace the chaos, the uncertainty, the volatility of life. Instead of trying to avoid discomfort and pain, seek it out, expose yourself to it deliberately. This is not about masochism or self-destruction, but about building resilience, about strengthening your mental and emotional muscles. Just as physical muscles grow stronger when they are subjected to stress, so too does the mind grow stronger when it is challenged by adversity. View setbacks and failures as opportunities for growth, as lessons to be learned, as stepping stones on the path to mastery. When you encounter a challenge, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I use this to become stronger?" This mindset transforms adversity from a threat into an advantage, from a source of weakness into a source of power. Furthermore, develop a personal code of conduct, a set of principles that guide your actions and shape your character. This code should be based on your values, your goals, and your vision for yourself. It should be clear, concise, and unwavering. It should serve as a compass, guiding you through the storms of life, helping you to stay true to yourself, even when faced with temptation or pressure. This code is not a set of rules to be followed blindly, but a framework for decision-making, a foundation for integrity. It should be constantly refined and updated as you grow and evolve, but its core principles should remain steadfast. The purpose of this code is to provide you with a sense of purpose, a sense of direction, a sense of identity. It is a shield against the chaos and uncertainty of the world, a source of strength and resilience. Do not underestimate the power of routine and ritual. Establish daily practices that ground you, that center you, that remind you of your goals. This could be meditation, exercise, journaling, or any other activity that helps you to connect with yourself and your purpose. These routines should be non-negotiable, a sacred part of your day, a refuge from the storms of life. They provide a sense of stability and predictability in a world that is constantly changing. They help you to maintain your focus, your discipline, and your momentum. They are the anchors that keep you grounded, the compass that guides you, the fuel that drives you. Remember, mastering inner turbulence is not a one-time achievement, but an ongoing process. It requires constant vigilance, relentless self-discipline, and unwavering commitment. There will be setbacks, there will be failures, there will be times when you feel like giving up. But it is in these moments that your true character is revealed. It is in these moments that you have the opportunity to transform yourself into something stronger, something more resilient, something more powerful. Embrace the challenge, embrace the struggle, embrace the pain. For it is through these experiences that you will forge yourself into an unbreakable force, a master of your own mind, a captain of your own soul. Consider the rise and fall of empires, the ebb and flow of war. No great power has ever achieved dominance without first mastering its internal conflicts. Look at the Roman Empire, a civilization that conquered vast territories and shaped the course of history. Their legions were not simply armies. They were highly disciplined fighting forces, each soldier rigorously trained to suppress his individual fears and desires for the sake of the collective. This internal discipline, this ability to control their emotions and impulses, was the bedrock of their military success. They understood that victory on the battlefield began with victory within the mind. The Roman soldier was taught to obey orders without question, to endure hardship without complaint, to fight to the death without hesitation. This level of self-control was not achieved overnight. It was the product of years of training, indoctrination, and relentless drilling. But the rewards were immense. A fighting force capable of withstanding unimaginable pressure, a military machine that could crush any opposition. Now consider the opposite, empires that crumbled from within, armies that were defeated not by superior force but by internal division and weakness. The French army under Napoleon, initially unstoppable, eventually succumbed to the harsh Russian winter, but the winter was not the sole cause. The French army had grown too large, too diverse, and too reliant on conquered territories. Its internal cohesion had eroded, its supply lines were overstretched, and its soldiers were no longer united by a common purpose. Internal strife, disunity, and a lack of discipline ultimately proved to be their undoing. Their inability to master their internal challenges led to external defeat. The same principles apply to individuals. If you cannot control your own thoughts, emotions, and impulses, you will be easily overwhelmed by the challenges of life. You will be tossed about by the winds of fate, a helpless victim of circumstance. But if you can cultivate inner discipline, if you can master your own mind, you will be able to overcome any obstacle, to achieve any goal. This requires a relentless commitment to self-improvement, a willingness to confront your own weaknesses, and the courage to push yourself beyond your comfort zone. It means learning to control your impulses, to delay gratification, to focus your attention on what is important, to persevere in the face of adversity. It means developing a mental toughness that allows you to withstand the pressures of life without breaking, a resilience that allows you to bounce back from setbacks stronger than before. This is not an easy path, but it is the only path to true mastery. It is the path of the warrior, the path of the conqueror, the path of the self-made individual. The battlefield is within you, the enemy is your own undisciplined mind, and the victory is the freedom to live your life on your own terms. This is not about suppressing your emotions entirely. It's about directing them, channeling them into productive action. Anger, for example, can be a powerful motivator if harnessed correctly. Fear can be a valuable warning signal, alerting you to potential danger. But if you allow these emotions to control you, they will consume you, cloud your judgment, and lead you down a path of self-destruction. Learn to recognize your emotions, to understand their triggers, and to control their expression. Do not let them dictate your actions. You are the master of your emotions, not the other way around. Remember that every great achievement in history, every triumph of the human spirit, has been the result of inner discipline. The artist who spends countless hours perfecting his craft, the scientist who dedicates his life to unraveling the mysteries of the universe, the athlete who pushes his body to its limits in pursuit of excellence. All of these individuals have one thing in common. They have mastered their inner turbulence. They have learned to control their thoughts, their emotions, and their impulses, and to focus their energy on achieving their goals. They have transformed their minds into powerful weapons, instruments of creation, and engines of progress. You have the same potential within you. You have the same capacity for self-mastery, but it will not come easily. It will require hard work, dedication, and a willingness to confront your own demons. It will require you to step outside of your comfort zone, to challenge your own limitations, and to push yourself beyond what you thought was possible. But the rewards are immeasurable. The freedom to live your life on your own terms, the power to achieve your dreams, the satisfaction of knowing that you have become the master of your own destiny. These are the prizes that await those who are willing to embark on the path of inner mastery. Do not be afraid of the challenges ahead. Embrace them, for it is through these challenges that you will grow, that you will learn, and that you will become the person you were meant to be. Inner turbulence is not an enemy to be vanquished, but a force to be harnessed. Understand that the very things that hold you back, the fear, the doubt, the anxiety, are the raw materials from which you forge your strength. It is in the crucible of these internal conflicts that you discover your true limits and then shatter them. Imagine a blacksmith shaping steel. He doesn't avoid the heat, the hammering, the intense pressure. He embraces it, because he knows that it is only through these processes that the metal can be transformed into something stronger, something more useful. Your mind is no different. The discomfort you feel when you confront your weaknesses, the pain you experience when you push yourself beyond your limits, these are not signs of failure, but signs of growth. They are indications that you are pushing against the boundaries of your current self, and that you are on the verge of breaking through to a new level of capability. This process requires brutal self-honesty. You must be willing to look at yourself without flinching and to acknowledge your flaws, your shortcomings, and your vulnerabilities. This is not an exercise in self-flagellation, but an act of courage. It is the first step towards taking control of your inner world. Once you have identified the sources of your turbulence, you can begin to develop strategies for managing them. This might involve techniques such as meditation, mindfulness, or cognitive behavioral therapy. But ultimately, the most effective strategy is to simply accept that these feelings are a part of you and to learn to work with them rather than against them. Think of a river. It doesn't try to stop the flow of water, but instead it carves a path through the landscape, adapting to the terrain and using the force of the current to its advantage. You must do the same with your inner turbulence. The world is filled with distractions, temptations, and external pressures that constantly threaten to derail your focus and undermine your resolve. These forces are relentless, and they will exploit any weakness in your mental armor. This is why it is so important to cultivate a deep sense of self-discipline. Self-discipline is not about depriving yourself of pleasure or living a life of rigid austerity. It is about making conscious choices, aligning your actions with your goals, and resisting the urge to give in to immediate gratification in favor of long-term success. It is about training your mind to focus on what is important and to filter out the noise and distractions that would otherwise consume your attention. This requires constant vigilance and unwavering commitment. You must be willing to say no to things that are not in alignment with your goals, even if they are tempting or enjoyable. You must be willing to prioritize your long-term well-being over your short-term desires. Moreover, understand the concept of psychological warfare, not just as it applies to external conflict, but as it applies to the war within yourself. Your mind is a battlefield, and there are forces at work within you that are constantly vying for control. These forces can manifest as negative thoughts, self-sabotaging behaviors, or destructive impulses. To win this war, you must learn to identify these forces, to understand their tactics, and to develop counter-strategies for neutralizing their influence. This might involve techniques such as reframing negative thoughts, challenging limiting beliefs, or setting boundaries to protect yourself from toxic influences. But the most important weapon in your arsenal is your own self-awareness. By understanding your own triggers, your own vulnerabilities, and your own patterns of behavior, you can anticipate and diffuse these internal attacks before they have a chance to take hold. The path to inner mastery is not a linear one. There will be setbacks, there will be failures, and there will be times when you feel like giving up. But it is during these moments that your resolve will be tested and that your true strength will be revealed. Remember that every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and that every failure is a lesson learned. Do not be discouraged by your mistakes, but instead, use them as fuel to propel you forward. The only way to truly fail is to stop trying. The only way to lose the war within is to surrender.